All right, guys, good morning. How are y'all doing on this lovely Wednesday morning here in Michigan? Hope you guys had a good night. Let's go ahead and dive into this real quick. Going through some of these updates. We're going to stay on here until the new SPC outlook. It's due at 9 a.m. So we're going to go over the guidance as of right now. Nothing really much has changed since last night. The forecast from yesterday continues today. There's a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, with 5 being the highest. Level 2 risk in yellow for Southeast Michigan. Exact same areas are under that slight risk. So reading those off again: Three Rivers, Kalamazoo, Hastings, Lansing, Flint, Pontiac, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Jackson, Coldwater, Adrian, Monroe, Battle Creek. You guys are in that slight risk. Around that in the dark green areas, a marginal level 1 out of 5 risk in effect here. Bad Axe, Saginaw, Mount Pleasant, Clare, Big Rapids, Fremont, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Holland, South Haven, Benton Harbor, Ionia, and Alma. You guys are in the marginal risk, which is a little bit lower of a threat, but still a threat nonetheless. Hazards have changed a little bit here. They've been kind of tweaked a little bit. First and foremost, your severe wind has been extended further to the west there. It's a 15% damaging wind threat now exists, all in that slight risk area. That is the only major change with this. Actually, I lied. There's one more change with this, and that is the 5% tornado risk has been shifted further to the east. It now only encompasses parts of Lenawee, all of Monroe County, most of Wayne County, as well as extreme southeastern Washtenaw County there as well. So extreme southeast Michigan in the higher threat for a tornado or two possible. But if you're in the risk area, all the locations underneath the risk, whether you're up in Big Rapids, up in Bad Axe, or down in Adrian or Coldwater or Kalamazoo, you guys have a risk today for a tornado that is possible. Last, but the main threat here, in my opinion, is going to be large hail. The parameters for the atmosphere today do support large hail today, and that's going to be the main concern. But that is going to still be is still a 15% risk in southeast Michigan there in areas in yellow. Further north in the reddish brown areas, you guys have a little bit less of a threat, but still a threat nonetheless here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look over a few things mentioned yesterday, watching cloud cover and also watching our surface instability numbers very closely. Looking at the overall picture of satellite, this is a cloud cover map here. White would be clouds, and then the blackish gray color would be clear skies. Here in Michigan, we have broken cloud cover as expected. But out here to the west, here in Illinois, it is full sun, and that's pushing up into our region. So this tells us at this point in time, this is going to move in. We're going to destabilize nicely, and that should allow storm development to occur roughly around 12 p.m. in West Michigan. And that'll move east-northeast throughout the early afternoon hours. It'll clear the state by about 6 to 7 p.m. So we have full sun moving in. Looking at our surface-based instability, we already have a little bit of it pushing into southwest Michigan right now, here in the red contoured outline. So it is coming together as expected as we looked on the models last night. Everything is coming together for this threat to materialize at this point in time. So we have a little more confidence now to say we are expecting a severe weather episode this afternoon across the state. With that being said, some of the models for the updates have not changed. Same thinking, about 12 p.m. Firing up in the west part of the state here. This is this morning working through here. And then we get to noon, and this is going to be 12 p.m. We have storms on Lake Michigan on the shoreline there in West Michigan there at noon. Let's go ahead and bump forward here. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. Here's 5. And then here's 6. So 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the time frame tonight. Again, that's just one model. The other model that we use, the NAM3, similar picture here. Storms about 12 p.m. coming onshore off of Lake Michigan. These will continue eastward across the state at the exact same time frame. So 12 p.m. start time. They'll clear the state by roughly 7 p.m. on this model. So a little bit slower on timing, but still roughly the same 12 p.m., 6 p.m. time frame. Overall, I think this threat is materializing, coming together quite well. Have a bunch of our chasers already moving into position. Some of the chasers are going to be across the border into Ohio. We do have a couple chasers staying in Michigan today. For us personally, we still think hail is the main risk with these storms. Overnight models have upticked our wind shear just slightly, and I emphasize slightly. It's not a significant change to our thinking, but the chance for a brief tornado or two in the state today is there. So we're not going to downplay that risk. There is a threat, although it's not a very high threat. It is a threat we have to mention, given that we have some decent wind shear parameters in place today. And also damaging winds will be a threat as well, although that threat should remain, I think, on the little bit lower end of the spectrum today. I think it's going to be mainly a hail risk and then maybe an isolated tornado risk possible with these storms. Highest risk, obviously, south and east, over toward the Metro Detroit, Ann Arbor, over toward Lansing, Adrian, Coldwater areas. Definitely has better parameters in terms of forecasted instability and stuff like that. So in that slight risk yellow area, that's going to be your highest risk today, but still around in the green areas, you guys should be on alert just as much as the yellow areas should be. So with that being said, I have the SPC will update here in about 9 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop over here to the SPC Outlook. This loads pretty quickly here. When it does pop in, I do have the monitor set up here, so I'll know exactly when it gets issued. So let's go ahead and hang out, and I'll look to the comment section now for some questions and overall concerns for today. We're going to leave it right here. Actually, we're going to leave it on the SPC Outlook. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Pop out the chat here. Cindy, Autumn, Crystal, Jasmine, Scott, Daniel, Travis. Well, good morning, everybody. It's cloudy in East Point. So, yeah, it's going to be broken cloud cover right now across the state. Looking at the cloud cover maps, which is right here, up here in Michigan, we do have areas up by Lansing, look like they're in some sun, Kalamazoo as well. But looking to the west here as this moves in towards the west to east, it's going to be more so clear than it is going to be cloudy. So we do have instability already pushing over about 1,000 surface-based Cape, which is more than enough. Right on the doorstep down here by South Bend in Chicago, all the way through Illinois, Indiana. That's going to push into our state here in the next couple hours. So the instability is already there. We see surface instability there, and that correlates well to the clearing we're having out here as well to get these storms firing up. So don't expect the clouds to be an issue today. Even though it may be cloudy in some areas, that'll likely change. Good morning, Kevin. Living a camper in Leslie, have to be a dentist appointment in Durand at 11:30. Should I take the dogs for a ride or should I stay in camper alone? 11:30 on Durand area. You probably will be okay as long as you get back before like 2 or 3. Your timing for that area is going to be roughly 2 to 4 p.m. So 11:30 is a little bit before storms would arrive for you guys. You can see sunshine coming in Dundee. I'm just to your west there, and it looks pretty cloudy over here. I'm in Britain, so I'm just to your west. But yeah, we can see the clouds on the satellite here. We're seeing some clearing off to our west here, so we should get sunshine before the morning's over. Good morning, Terry. Nice rain and thunder last night. Yep, that was a disappointment for me down here in southeast Michigan, but I know you guys up there in central and northern Michigan got a few storms. I'm kind of jealous, low-key jealous. Is instability playing out yet for storms in southeast Michigan? Yes, it is forming to our west. It'll push into the state here over the next couple hours. The SPC Outlook is due in 5 minutes. In fact, it just got issued. Let's go ahead and see if there's any update with this, and we'll go ahead and go from there. We'll wait for it to pop in here. So just reminding everybody, this is what it looked like before. Your slight risk is in southeast. Nothing changed from yesterday. We'll leave that up there just for a minute. We'll compare and see if anything's changed. But otherwise, yep. Okay, the slight risk got extended further north. I see that. That's an immediate change here. So the slight risk now goes all the way up into the thumb to Mount Pleasant. That is one immediate change. So they expanded the slight risk further north. That's your first immediate observation there. The tornado probability did not change. It is still highest in southeast Michigan, and that 2% does go all the way up to the top of this risk area. So the outlook for tornadoes did not change. That has not been updated yet. Neither has that. So just the immediate change here. Let's go ahead and compare. See how the slight risk is down here? It ended at about Flint, Lansing, Hastings, and the new outlook just came in, and that now is extended all the way up into the thumb. So Port Austin up there. Looks like Mount Pleasant is on the very edge of that slight risk now. And they did they extend that further to the west too? No, they didn't. All right, we'll wait for the hail and wind update here. Oh, there's your updated hail. Nothing changed with that. Still 15% on the hail there in southeast Michigan. And the damaging wind threat got extended further north. So that is what's driving that slight risk now further north. So there you have it, their new update. Unfortunately, I cannot get zoomed in maps just yet. It takes a little bit to hit the partner page. I can try, but I doubt it'll be loaded yet. Yeah, so that's what it looked like before. That's not the updated guidance. We'll wait for it to pop in, though. What can we expect? Any type of watch being issued? Will it be tornado or severe? Ralph, honestly, we couldn't really tell you. Educated guess would say likely if there's going to be a watch today, it's going to be for severe. I don't think the overall tornadic threat is very high today. That should be coming here roughly probably the next 3 or 4 hours. If one does get issued, which honestly I would expect one to be issued today, given the parameters, but we'll see. We don't get to make that call. No sun in southern Jackson. Yeah, guys, just wait. Just wait. Look off to the west here. We have our cloud cover map here. It's completely clear off to the west, and even West Michigan now getting some breaks in the clouds here. But looking at the instability already, we already have a large amount of it pushing into the state right now. This is what the red outlines are here. This is over 1,000 surface-based cape that's pushing into the state. So cloud cover is not going to be an issue with getting these storms up and going today. I don't want to do these just yet because it's updated. So we're going to wait for this to update. It takes a second to hit this website here. So we'll wait for it. When is the worst part of it starting tonight? No, it's going to start at 12 p.m. So roughly 3 hours from now, expect storms to fire up in West Michigan from Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Kalamazoo, St. Joseph area. And that'll push eastward with time. It'll clear the state by 6. So our timing map on this, I'll go ahead and pull that back up. I did not pull it up again. I probably should have, but I was kind of in a quick rush to get on here. So let me go ahead and pull the timing map up for you guys real quick. It is posted on our page. It is pinned on our profile. You guys are more than welcome to hop off here and check that out as well if you guys want to take a up close look at it. But this is the timing map that we had made yesterday. It says timing of storms tomorrow, but it's obviously today now. So you're timing on the west part of Michigan between 12 and 2 p.m. in red areas, in yellow areas 2 and 4, green areas 3 to 6, then blue areas 4 to 7. And this is not a risk map. It's just timing only. I'll leave that on the screen here for a few. Jen, at this point, I would not expect a northward shift in the overall risk, although we just have the slight risk expansion to the north, which we'll wait for that to pop in on the updated graphics here. It's a little slow to update sometimes, so we'll wait for that to pop in. Okay, well, it's update on the Detroit look here. So there's your updated slight risk, guys. So it goes all the way back now to Grand Rapids, all the way up into Midland, all the way up into Bad Axe area. That is going to be driven for damaging wind threat today. Looks like the highest threat for tornadoes. This is still the old map. We'll get the updated one here in a minute. That's also not updated. So the only updated map we have right now is this updated map from Detroit's area. So it doesn't include this map doesn't include west side cities. So we'll get the other one rolled up here in just a minute. Okay, that works. There we go. There's your updated risk areas there. So Mount Pleasant, we'll say Mount Pleasant is included in that just because it's basically on the line. Alma now included, Ionia, Hastings, Kalamazoo, all the way back towards Three Rivers. The only places not really included in that slight risk are going to be Big Rapids, Fremont, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Holland, and South Haven, and also Benton Harbor there. Yes, the tornado chance today across the state from the SPC is at the lowest risk right now, which is called 2%. It means basically a tornado or two possible in those areas. And the 5% at the latest update was for the extreme southeast corner by Monroe, Lenawee, Washtenaw, Wayne counties. I'll see if that updates yet. That is not updated yet. Let's see if we can get a state view here. Like I said, guys, this takes a minute to update on this website, so we're just kind of waiting for it to pop in. Do you think it's safe to sleep through these storms? I normally stay awake during them, but I have next to no sleep in 2 days. I definitely, if you're going to go to sleep, make sure your EAS alerts on your phone are turned on. In the event of a tornado warning does get issued or a severe thunderstorm warning that is destructive, that'll get alerts sent to your phone. So as long as you have those on or weather radio to wake you up just in case, I'd say, yeah, go for it. Alexis, I will do that as soon as I'm off here. Do I expect anything to be upgraded? No. At this point, I think the outlook is pretty much set. Your slight risk did get expanded further to the north and just a bit further west as well. So it encompasses a pretty big portion of the state now. Yeah, time frame, Brandon, is the same, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. 12 p.m. on the west side of the state, storms will fire up around that time frame. Again, not exact. Weather is never precise. If it was precise, there wouldn't be a need for us or meteorologists or NWS, so on and so forth. Will we be live? Yes, we do. Wow, tired. We will be live later today. We have a stream scheduled for 12 noon. Whether we start at 12 noon is to be determined by the weather. But overall, yes, we have chasers who are in the field today. I'll be here at home based on radar duty. So we'll be covering this live for you guys. Is this system comparable to the one that came through and dropped a tornado on Grand Blanc? No, not really. Although there is a tornado risk today, this is definitely a different type of setup. In a way, it's similar in a way. We have a warm front across the area, but back in February, we had a couple other mesoscale details that help storms out that we don't have today. But there is a risk today, although it's not identical back to February. Today's risk, there is a little bit less wind shear to work with, and the wind shear we have is not oriented too concerning right now for tornadoes. In fact, actually, that reminds me, we can actually have a look at how our wind shear is doing in real time now with this awesome website that was created a few years ago. So we're going to take a peek here at Detroit's wind shear for right now. Although for right now, it is a little bit early in the morning. This will kind of weaken as we get through the day. But overall, we have this awesome website we can use to get a look at our wind shear, our wind profiles here. This is from Detroit. And we want to see long and right curved on these lines here. And right now we're seeing a little bit of a right curve, which is kind of how models had it yesterday. So not much is changing with this thinking, but we're going to watch these close throughout the day to see how much wind shear we have as we head into the storm timeframes. Let's go ahead and see if we can't load that SPC Outlook again here. Let's go ahead and click on this one. There we go. There's your update. So the tornado risk is still for the exact same areas. That did not change. Eastern half of Lenawee from Adrian over, and then also all of Monroe County, most all of Wayne County, and then very extreme southeast Washtenaw County is getting in on that 5% tornado risk. I would honestly agree with that. I think the better instability is going to be further to, not instability, but the better wind shear is going to be a little bit further south into Ohio. So we'll have to watch how that plays out through the day. But I think that's a really good placement from the SPC on the tornadic risk today. Looking at other threats here, we have an update on wind. There you go. There's the updated wind threat up all the way up to the Bad Axe, Port Austin areas in the Thumb. Looking on radar, we actually have a few areas of storms that are beginning to fire up over Chicago. This is pretty early. They've been in existence for a while, actually, but I just saw there is a special marine warning over by Chicago. It's going to push more than likely toward Allegan County, Van Buren counties here in the next 2 or 3 hours. So we'll have to watch those storms over Illinois. Those might be something to watch here as they push toward the state. All right, I'm getting behind on comments, guys, so I got to skip some of these. I apologize. I'm trying to get to most of these. Is this a derecho setup? No, this is not a derecho setup. Squall line or discrete? So, good question. It could be a mix of both. We could have line segments today, but the overnight models are more so indicating a broken line of discrete cells. We call them semi-discrete cells. So if that's the case, I'd be more so concerned for large hail and they had a possibility of a tornado or two. But we're kind of both storm modes today. Are you still confident if a tornado happens, it'll be on the weaker side? Yeah, Mike, I don't see a reason why it would be stronger if there was going to be one today. I would not expect too many at all in Michigan, if any at all. But the wind shear today does not really favor tornadoes, let alone strong tornadoes. So not a concern at all. Reed Timmer says Michigan will get a tornado. No, actually, no. He did not say that. He just highlighted the warm front in southeast Michigan today for a tornado or two possible. That's all he did. He did not say we're going to get tornadoes today. SPC uses knots. I don't know how to translate to miles per hour. Honestly, to be completely honest, neither do I. But I do know that you had roughly about 3 to 5 knots, or 3 to 5. If you had like 30 knots, that equal like 35 or so miles an hour around that. It's not a significant difference between the two, but there is a little bit of difference. MPH is a little bit higher usually than knots. Is this setup comparable to Weberville? No. This is nowhere near August 24th of last year levels. This is nowhere near that. 1 knot is about 1.1 miles per hour. Thank you, Nimrod. I don't know why your name is that, but I'll address you as such. Sun shining in Galesburg. Is it likely the sun comes out and feels storms? Yes, we already seen that on satellite. The gray there is your clear skies. White is clouds. We have broken cloud cover all the way across southern Michigan, Indiana here, Northwest Ohio, Illinois. There's actually a few areas of Illinois that already has development of storms. So this might be going early today. Or at least trying to, at least. Yeah, we have some updrafts trying in Illinois, so we'll have to watch that area close. Is Flint weather going to be bad? I can't really tell you exactly where it's going to be bad at and where it's not going to be bad. All I can tell you is that you are in the risk. That risk does include Flint. And then your timing on that's going to be probably closer to 4 to 5 p.m. On the timing map here. This is what timing up here by Flint. You're in the blue zone, so I have you at 4 to 7. But you are pretty close to that 3 to 6. So I'd say between time frame about 3 to 5 or so would be a good expectation for you. Or not 3 to 5, but 4 to 7. 4 to 6 area. Yes, we will be live later today. Nothing but solid blue sky in Portland. Thank you, Kyle. If storms go early, does that suppress a severe threat? Kind of, but not really, given that we already have a large amount of instability in place. In fact, there's our latest update. We have 1,500 now surface cape down here in northwest Indiana, and we're just starting to see it push into Michigan now. So it was a bit south of the state line. Now it's pushing into the state. So there's your instability already in place. So that's not going to be a concern today. Sun is out in Flint. Thank you, Jordan. It's brightening up in South Jackson. No sun, but sky is lightened up. Yep, you guys are going to be getting broken cloud cover. It'll likely come in and out for a while there. But again, the instability is already working its way into the state. So the clouds that are in place, if you do have clouds, are not going to affect this threat much at all. Are we still on track timing wise for Shelby County? Yes. What about the winds? Winds today, severe winds up to 60 miles per hour is the main threat with that. I'm going to read the latest outlook here to get an idea if they have any particular areas of concern. They'll usually do a discussion with their SPC outlook. So it's more so meteorological and technical stuff you guys probably wouldn't understand if I spit this out for you. So I'm just going to read it really quickly here. Okay, so they are concerned. They're saying that if storms can form into a line, in their terms, tendency maybe for thunderstorms to quickly organize into a line, especially across lower Michigan, which will be in close proximity to the large scale upper trough or the low pressure system. If this evolution occurs, the severe damaging winds would be the main threat with this activity, thus have expanded the marginal and slight risk northward across lower Michigan for this potential. So basically, they've extended this risk further to the north because the models overnight tonight and also uh, this or earlier this morning, should I say, are trying to get these storms more so into line. Last night, they were looking a little bit more discrete in nature. I have not looked at the updated models yet this morning, but when you have a signal for this, you have like these broken little cells here, but it does have potential to come into a line here. So that line would be more so for gusty winds along the leading edge of that. And that does look to strengthen in Southeast Michigan quite a bit more than it does in West Michigan there. But I think once these storms cross I-69, I think they're going to get really up and going here. So like Hillsdale, Jackson, Ingham counties east towards Detroit and Flint, you guys probably have the uh, highest threat for these storms. But again, they form right around 6, right around 12 p.m., 16Z if you want to use Zulu time. But it's 12 p.m. Noon is when storms fire up, and then those will strengthen as they push eastward here. When they cross I-69 here in central Michigan, that's when they really start to expand and blow up here. So, but yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if they stay more so discrete or individual in nature, or if these storms try to line out. We could have a mixed mode of both. So a QLCS would reduce chance of tornado. The QLCS spin up chance today, if we get a QLCS, there could be a spin up along that line today, but I don't expect there to be, anything too significant. My other radar down here keeps going down. I had to restart it, so give me a second here to get this back up. There we go. How fast are the storms going to be moving? Will it rain for a long time? No, it's not going to rain for a long time at all. Storm motion today is going to be roughly about 40 to 50 miles per hour. In fact, I can actually tell you here in a second. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's get an idea here. You can actually get a lot of information from these particular forecast soundings. All right, let's go ahead and zoom down here. About 30 to 40 miles per hour. So not too quick. All right, radar's back up. Yeah, Freedom. Burn bans, it depends on your local township areas. But we aren't really dry, so to speak. What causes fire conditions is more so the wind and the humidity levels. When we have humidity levels that are like 20% or so, um, that could easily start a fire, even in some wet conditions that we've had across the state. There's going to be some still dry areas there that could ignite pretty easily. So, humidity today is actually quite high. I'm looking at my outdoor what station right now. It says 90%. So I wouldn't expect there to be a fire risk today. After this threat, I don't know. I have not looked at long-term humidity levels to get an idea with that. So it's not really about how wet it's been. It's more so about the humidity and the wind for fire conditions. All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off here pretty soon. So if you guys got questions, now is the time to ask those. But otherwise, we gotta get ready for today. I gotta eat some breakfast, get my space prepared here, to be live for a few hours. But overall, 12 p.m. is the expected start time in West Michigan. They'll clear the state by 6 p.m. Again, the timing map on this is right here. Areas in red, 12 to 2. Areas in yellow, 2 to 4. 3 to 6 in the green areas, 4 to 7 in blue. This is also posted on our page. So if you guys want to go back and look at it, it is pinned at the very top of our Facebook page. I'll be here covering radar live. We may have Joel and Mike on here today helping. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but as far as we know, it's an earlier type of threat. So we're not going to have Nick today. He's at work. I believe Chandler and Alex will be chasing. Joel is busy with his college classes, and most of our partner chasers are chasing today. So I will be solo, potentially with a few other Mike, and then maybe Joel, depending on how Joel his class pans out. So um, we're a little short-staffed with radar, but we have an abundance of chasers out. So we'll do our best here. So, all right. How large of hail would we get in Genesee County? Right now, expecting hail to be right around the inch, which is quarter in diameter. We could see a few larger stones. I would not rule that out, especially if storms can stay more isolated in nature. They would have a threat to produce larger hail than just quarter size. But overall, the majority of the severe hail today should be right around quarters. So expect us to go live roughly around 12 p.m. noon. If we have to wait another hour for storms to fire up, we will. So just be prepared. We do have it scheduled on our page. If you guys want to click that link, it was posted last night. You scroll back in the timeline, click the link, and you'll say interested or going, and that will give you guys notifications when we do go live. So with that being said, though, I'm going to hop off here. I do some behind the scenes work and get ready for some coverage later on today. So you guys stay safe. I'll see you guys later on today.